them and making final preparations for their undocking from the International Space Station that is scheduled at 12:05 a.m. Central Time, 1:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the home stretch for Williams and Wilmore to complete an extended 9.5-month mission in space. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is a momentous night to begin the journey home for Crew-9. Williams and Wilmore, having launched back on June 5th on a Boeing Starliner spacecraft, propulsion system issues resulted in a decision by NASA to bring Williams and Wilmore home on the SpaceX Dragon Freedom spacecraft. Crew-9, that meaning Hague and Gorbunov, launched with 2 empty seats aboard Freedom back in late September, clearing the way for Williams and Wilmore to join them on the ride home, the beginning of which will occur just about 2 hours and 12 minutes from now with the undocking of Freedom from that space-facing port on the Harmony module. That is scheduled at 4:11 p.m. Central Time. At the time that the Dragon splashes down, that will slow Dragon down in the Gulf of America off the Gulf Coast late Tuesday afternoon. Williams and Wilmore will have spent 286 days in space, 285 of which aboard the International Space Station. They will have completed 4,576 orbits of the Earth in a mission spanning 121.3 million statute miles. Hague and Gorbunov's, their mission duration, 171 days, 170 days of which aboard the International Space Station. Their mission will have spanned 2,736 orbits of the Earth, 72.5 million statute miles. The Crew-9 departing crew, they have donned their garments, their undergarments, if you will. Nick Hague, just off on the right side of your screen. Dragon Freedom crew they will be assisted through that hatchway to close the hatch behind them. That hatch closure expected about 30 minutes, perhaps a bit less than that. Just out of the field of view,
Houston on 2, stand by for Big Loop audio config.
The hatch was closed at 10:05 p.m. Central Time, 11:05 p.m. Eastern Time. The station hatch will be closed just a short time from now, enabling a series of leak checks to occur to make sure we have an airtight seal before the spacecraft communicator Tess Caswell here in Mission Control in Houston, part of the Orbit 3 team, will be talking to the crew members as they complete the hatch closure and then subsequently the undocking of the International Space Station. She is part of that Orbit 3 team that is led by Flight Director Marcos Flores tonight. He is the lead flight director for the Crew-9 mission. In the foreground, popping in and out of the field of view, is NASA astronaut Anne McClain, the commander of the Dragon Endurance that automatically docked to the forward port of the Harmony module in the wee hours of Sunday morning to initiate about 1+ days of handover activities with the Crew-9 crew. The abbreviated handover was specifically designed to provide as many undocking opportunities as possible for Crew-9. The decision to bring the Crew-9 crew back to Earth on Tuesday was dictated by what is forecast to be pristine weather conditions at the various landing sites in the Gulf of America that the Dragon Freedom will be coming home to late Tuesday afternoon, with splashdown scheduled at 4:57 p.m. Central Time, 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time. SpaceX Dragon Freedom, the Crew-9 crew all on board on the far left. Butch Wilmore, Nick Hague, right, the commander of the Dragon Freedom, floating through the hatchway. We will see Williams and Wilmore shortly as they are completing their suit-up activities. The final suit-up will take place once the 4 crew members are inside Dragon and the hatch is closed between Dragon and the International Space Station. The station hatch on that side of the docking interface will be closed after the Dragon hatch is closed. A single mission. That distinction belongs Wilmore and Williams have performed informal suit and seat fit checks on orbit using 2 spare suits on the International Space Station. The SpaceX team supported this effort and gathered data to make an informed decision on the suits that they would wear on the ride home and the seat sizing. A new suit was actually flown up for Butch Wilmore on the Crew-9 mission that arrived on the station at the end of September. Wilmore and Williams also performed suit donning and doffing activities to familiarize themselves with the suits and with Dragon systems during the handover between Crew-8 and Crew-9 back in September. And this is not new activity for Williams and Wilmore. They actually were aboard in those suits during a port relocation that transferred the Freedom spacecraft, the Dragon Freedom, from the forward port of Harmony to the zenith port of Harmony back in November. Once Williams, Wilmore, Hague, and Gorbunov depart the International Space Station just over 2 hours from now, the 7 crew members left aboard the International Space Station will continue the Expedition 72 increment, led by the commander of the station, Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexei Ovchinin, joined by his cosmonaut colleagues Ivan Wagner and Kirill Peskov, Peskov having just arrived on the station as part of Crew-10. Also continuing on in orbit, NASA astronauts Anne McClain, Nicole Ayers, and Don Pettit, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takuya Onishi. Don Pettit will be coming home in late April, April 19th, in fact, U.S. time, on the far left of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft that he rode to orbit in, along with Ovchinin and Wagner from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. The International Space Station is currently flying 260 miles above the Earth, currently crossing the southeastern coast of Africa, moving in a trajectory from northwest to southeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. At the SpaceX Mission Control Room in Hawthorne, California, the SpaceX flight controllers are reporting that all of Freedom's systems are in excellent shape. Nick Hague there, as you see on your screen, stowing some last-minute items aboard the Dragon spacecraft that he is commanding from undocking through splashdown. The weather has been monitored for the splashdown sites in the Gulf of America throughout the day. The reports continue to be that the weather is forecast to be excellent for Dragon's homecoming on Tuesday afternoon. From the time of undocking through splashdown, it's a fairly short phasing, as they term the ballistics end of the operation, about 17 hours of transit between the time the Dragon will undock from the International Space Station and the time it will splash down. Again, splashdown off the coast of Florida in the Gulf is scheduled for 4:57 p.m. Central Time, 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday afternoon. We should be seeing Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore shortly. At the time of splashdown, predicted to be Tuesday afternoon, Williams again will have logged 286 days in space on this, her third flight, and a total of 608 days in space, the second most by any American astronaut, right behind Peggy Whitson, who has 675 days in space on her bio. Butch Wilmore, with his 286 days in space at the time of splashdown tomorrow, on this, his third flight, will have logged 464 days in space. Nick Hague, wrapping up his third mission with 171 days in space, will have a total of 374 days in space, to his credit. And again, Aleksandr Gorbunov of Roscosmos ending his first flight into space with a splashdown tomorrow and a total of 171 days on his biography.